Why are people selling their homes here in North Idaho? This is a question that we get from a lot of you savvy buyers who are interested in the psychology of why people are selling their homes here. Well, we're going to answer that question. And to do that, we're going to look at the 3 Ds of real estate. These 3 Ds help define the psychology of why people traditionally sell their homes. In addition to those 3 traditional Ds, I'm going to throw a 4th D at you that a lot of people don't talk about, which really plays into the psychology of our market here in North Idaho. At the end of the video, we're going to take a look at the first 3 months, that would be quarter number 1 of 2025 here in North Idaho, and break down what the market is doing. So let's get into it. So why are sellers selling their homes here in North Idaho? The best way that we can characterize the reason people are selling their homes is we use what's called the 3 Ds in real estate. Those are death, divorce, and debt. And we'll talk about those here in a second. There's a 4th D that I'll share with you at the end that isn't one of these Ds, but it's a significant D here in our market. So I'll show you that in a minute. When we talk about death, that's a constant undercurrent on why people are selling, especially here in North Idaho. Let's talk about death. If you go back to our biggest boom here in North Idaho, that was when you saw that first wave of baby boomers traditionally coming from larger markets like California or Washington, and they either bought or built their final home. Well, fast forward. They have now either died, both of them or one of them, and because of that death, that home is being sold. So that is traditionally one of the reasons we always see people selling homes here in North Idaho. Those typically tend to be homes that are a little bit more outdated, maybe even unkempt, because Martha has been holding on to this house for the last 5 years since Vern died, and she hasn't cleaned the gutters or replaced anything. So when you look at these homes that are being sold because of death, traditionally they need some work. All right, the second D would be divorce. We're seeing a lot of these right now in our market. And I can tell you from having worked 30 years in law enforcement and gone through several different recessions, when you see tough economic times, you tend to see more domestic calls. You tend to see more arrests for battery. You tend to see the jail populations go up during recessions because of theft and things like that. But as we've gone through the last 5 years of high inflation and tougher economic times, we're seeing more divorce. And that is a main reason that we're seeing homes on the market right now. We're seeing a lot of that. A note on divorces, those of you that are buyers trying to break down if divorce situations are desperate, maybe I can capitalize and get a good deal. It's usually not that simple. You've got to keep in mind that when people are in a divorce situation, if they're talking at all, they both agree that they need the max amount out of that house so that they can then go buy 2 separate homes, which is really hard to do in our market here because homes are so expensive. So divorce situations tend to hold out as long as they can with the highest price that they can because they absolutely need that equity for each of them to go their separate ways. So you traditionally don't see a killing on the buy end when you're dealing with divorce situations. And these ones tend to fall out of escrow a little bit more than the average because once inspection items come in, the 2 parties bicker and can't come to terms on what they're going to give the buyer for inspections. Appraisals, if appraisals come back under what the price was, anything that comes up in a divorce situation just compounds the communication, and they tend to fall out of escrow a little bit more than the common sale. All right, the 3rd D is debt. And we're not seeing homes go on the market due to debt here. Everybody's been waiting for that market crash and waiting for that flood of homes to come on the market because people are underwater in their homes. That is not the case. You guys, foreclosures nationwide are as low as they've been in recent history. And the reason for that is the property values have gone up so much over the last 5 years that pretty much everybody has equity in their homes and they're not underwater. And as a result, you don't see a lot of homes going on the market because of debt. Right now, the reason people are selling their homes in our market is usually death or divorce, or the more common one, the more common D that we aren't usually hearing about at least in our market, is called downsizing. So downsizing is where you've got that family that raised the kids. Maybe they bought that house, and they tend to be larger houses, and this is significant for our breakdown here. Family homes tend to have stairs in them. Maybe you have 2 stories, the bedrooms are all upstairs, or you have a larger home, 3-bedroom with a bonus room upstairs. The family homes traditionally have stairs in them. Retirees do not like stairs. They don't want stairs. So that leaves your demographic to buy your family home, if you're selling it, to young families. Well, young families in the United States can't afford homes anymore, if you haven't checked the news. The average growth rate of wages over the last 10 to 15 years is about 3% a year. The average real estate price increase year over year is about 5 to 6%. So real estate prices over the last 10 to 15 years have gone up double what wages have. So if you're an older couple that's raised their family and you go to sell your house here in North Idaho, when you bought it 10 to 15 years ago, your wages were more consistent with what the affordability of that home was. Now it's not so much. The affordability discrepancy between wages and real estate prices is immense. So the bottom line is, for sellers that are selling a home here in North Idaho that is a young family home that traditionally has stairs, that home is going to stay on the market longer than a home that is a single story. So that gives you a little bit of understanding of how and why people are selling here in North Idaho. Debt really isn't even a factor. If you go and you look for foreclosures, and a little bit of a side note, when you guys go onto Zillow and you see pre-foreclosures, those are not foreclosures. Those are usually shots fired by the bank. They put the listing on Zillow as a pre-foreclosure, and basically what it is telling the owner of that home, hey, if you don't pay up your delinquent payments, we will put you in foreclosure. And typically what people will find is they'll wake up one day, look on Zillow, or a family member will call and say, hey, did you know your house is on Zillow? Well, that was the bank, again, shots fired, get your payments in or we're going to put you in foreclosure. And because homes today have so much equity in them, people are not apt to just walk away and say, go ahead and have it, bank. No, they will pay their payment no matter what it takes because they've got significant equity in that home due to the constant real estate prices we've seen over the last 5 years. So we don't see a lot of homes come on the market due to debt. All right, hopefully that helps you guys understand a little bit of the dynamics on why people sell their homes here in North Idaho. Right now, I want to take you into Q1, quarter number 1 of 2025, and show you what the real estate market has done for those first 3 months. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is the first 3 months of 2025. And even though you're going to see the title up here saying March, this is the end of March, and I queued up this statistical data to be the first 3 months of 2025. So what you see here, if you look down here in the corner, these are homes under 2 acres. These are traditionally your homes in town on residential lots. The median price is basically $530,000, which is up 8.4% over last year, which was up 1.9% over 2023. So you're seeing an increasing rise in prices for homes in town. And right now, the median price is $530,000. Now, there are those of you that are looking for rural properties, so let's take a look at those. You see down here, it says that these are homes for 2+ acres. And again, these are the first 3 months of 2025, and you can see that the median price is $862,500, which is up 16.4% over last year, which is interesting because you saw last year down 4.4% from 2023. Well, what this means is that there is more homes selling at a higher price point here in North Idaho that are rural properties. And this is a significant number for a lot of you to understand who are looking for rural properties. In my conversations with potential buyers week in and week out, a lot of buyers have a budget of $500,000 to $600,000 and they want rural property. You guys, this number tells you that that's almost non-existent. Remember, median price is the middle. Half the people that bought rural properties bought under $862,500. half bought above that. The ones that bought below 862,500 got the homes that needed more work than the ones that didn't. So if you're coming to our market looking for rural properties and you have a $500,000 to $600,000 budget, you're almost not going to find rural properties, and if you do, they're going to be ones that really have issues, either in their structural integrity of the home or in their location. Maybe they're too far out or too far up on a mountain. The expectation that you should have if you have a $500,000 to $600,000 budget is you have a good enough budget to find a good home in town, but you're not going to find a move-in ready home on a really nice lot close to town for anywhere near $500,000 to $600,000. So these are some of the things that you need to understand if you're investigating our market. And I can answer your questions more specifically if you want to call or have a Zoom call or meet in person to help you figure out what your money can afford. But this number here, this is what you should expect if you're looking for rural property, around $862,500. And if you want a really nice home on a really good piece of dirt, it's going to be closer to $1 million. All right, let's take a look at new listings. So again, the first 3 months of 2025, we saw 773 new homes hit the market. These are people selling their homes for the first time. And that was up 16.8% over last year. So we're seeing more people come onto the market now. That's great news for you buyers. The more inventory, the better. What is that inventory doing to the overall inventory or houses for sale? You can see here the first 3 months. At the end of March, we had 1,490 homes to pick from on the market. That was up 17% over the first 3 months of last year, which was up 10% over 2023. So what you see is a consistent, steady rise in inventory over the last 3 years. Again, great news for home buyers. Now, when we go over to pending sales, again, this is an indicator of buyer activity, right? We had 450 homes go under contract the first 3 months here in North Idaho, and that was up 4.2% over the year before, which was up 20.3% over the year before. So we're seeing more buyers come into the market, and that is indicated by homes going under contract. But just because they go under contract doesn't mean that they close, and that's our next statistic. You can see here in the first 3 months, we saw 312 homes close. And remember, this is a lagging indicator. Typically, your closed sales lag about 30 days from when they went pending. But what I think you can draw from this scenario, if you look at closed sales, they have gone down in the same period year over year. If I go back to pending sales, you can see they have gone up. So what's going on? Why are the homes falling out of escrow? Typically, homes fall out of escrow right around 9 to 10% of the time. We're seeing that right now be 15 to 20% of homes are falling out of escrow. And the main reasons that we're seeing that happen is, one, it would be insurance. We all know that insurance is going up nationwide. And when people get pre-approved for a home, they maximize their budget, their monthly budget, and then they get under escrow and they call their insurance company and they say, hey, I've got this really cool rural property in North Idaho that I just put under contract. Can I get an insurance quote? And the insurance company gives them a quote that was way over what they were thinking they could get. And it pushes them over their monthly budget and it falls out of escrow. Another reason we're seeing homes fall out of escrow is, as we talked about earlier, with a lot of homes on our market due to divorce, when homes go into escrow and there are inspection items or appraisal items that need to be addressed, it's usually during the escrow period that these things are ironed out. And with divorcees not wanting to communicate with each other and decide on how they're going to kick money back to the buyers for those issues that relate to inspection and appraisals, that breakdown in communication usually means a breakdown in escrow. And you'll see homes fall out of escrow because of those reasons. Inspection items that just couldn't come to terms. So just because you get a house under contract doesn't mean it's going to close escrow. You got to do everything you can to make sure that the communication stays strong and that good negotiation skills on behalf of your real estate agent are there to keep that deal going. So there you have it. That's the first 3 months of 2025 here in North Idaho. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Before we go, I just want to say if you're considering buying or selling real estate here in North Idaho, I'd love to answer your questions in person. To do that, there's a link in the description below on how you can get on our calendar. Again, I will answer your questions in person. We can either do it over a phone conference, a Zoom call, especially if you like me to use visual graphics. We can also meet in person if you're here in town. Again, check out that link in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the content that you're seeing and you want to keep up with the North Idaho real estate market. We do videos like this at least once a month. All right, thanks for following. Take care now. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kory Martinelli. My wife Bonnie and I own a local real estate team based in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Our personal journey to live better began in 2009 when we relocated our young family to North Idaho from Ventura County, California. We wanted to raise our family in a place rich with outdoor recreation and in a culture that treasured our strong conservative values. Leaving family, friends, and church was not easy. Perhaps the scariest decision was to leave behind 21 years as a deputy sheriff with Ventura County and finish my career with a new agency. But I did it and finished serving out my 3 decades in law enforcement as a deputy with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department right here in North Idaho. While I was doing the easy part, working in law enforcement, Bonnie diligently raised our 2 children, battled breast cancer into remission, and started her real estate career part-time. Talk about a winner. After retiring from law enforcement in 2016, I joined Bonnie in real estate and we went full-time forming the Martinelli Realty team and this video channel. Since then, we have successfully navigated one of the most aggressive and competitive real estate markets in America to help over 300 families relocate to North Idaho. In that time, Bonnie has been recognized as one of the top 1% producing real estate professionals in the entire country. It is this experience that we have gained in the market that forms the foundation of our videos. If you are wondering if you can live better in North Idaho, we dedicate this channel to you.